Chica, chica, basada!
Hello, King Bob. Welcome to Buckingham Palace. Hello, King Bob. Welcome to Buckingham Palace.
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was... Look again.
So here we are at Buckingham Palace. And on the gate, the crest has gone. If we go in closer, you can see that the windows are all boarded up from the inside or covered or something. But it's the first time that has ever happened.
Hello, King Bob. Welcome to Buckingham Palace.
No.
Oh, what's the matter, Your Majesty? Whatever's bothering you, we can make it right. Just name it.
Oh. Buddies!
And the guys guarding the palace aren't the Royal Guards. They are Gurkhas. The Gurkhas guarding the palace.
Buddies! 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 Mala, nakashamashure. Oh, aspetta. Pula? King Bob!
So, you're the King of England now?
Yep.
Well, I didn't see that coming.
I spent 10 years on that island studying him. I know this for sure. Kong bows to no one. Kong bows to no one.
In a desperate attempt to fill 24 hours of programming, here's some bullshit that happened somewhere today.
It's interesting. We heard from the minister of DRC. What's wrong with your country? Well, we don't even start by saying the King of Belgium created a slave colony for 30 years. The government of Belgium ran the slave colony for another 40 years. The CIA assassinated your first popular leader, Mr. Lumumba.
America, 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 fuck yeah! Come out again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America, fuck yeah!
The CIA assassinated your first popular leader, Mr. Lumumba, and then installed another dictatorship for the next 30 years. And then Glencore and others now suck out your cobalt without giving you tax income. We cannot turn this over to the private sector. We already did about 100 years ago.
We've got some footage here of the bullshit, which began just after 3 o'clock this afternoon, when residents in this neighborhood were shocked to see this fairly common thing happening.
We cannot turn this over to the private sector. We already did about 100 years ago, not only to the private sector with the U.S. military behind it.
Let me explain to you how this works. You see, the corporations finance Team America. And then Team America goes out, and the corporations sit there in their corporation buildings, and see that they're all corporation-y, and they make money.
So we're in a world that's really tough. The private sector's not going to solve this problem. I'm sorry to say to all of the private sector leaders, behave, pay your taxes, follow the rules. That's what you should do. Behave, pay your taxes, follow the rules. That's what you should do.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
The CIA assassinated your first popular leader, Mr. Lumumba.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
And I've seen the promised land.
There goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Not to worry, Mission Control. Help is on the way.
You are the direct descendants of God Himself.
I realize that you're new to this, but relax. You've been chosen by a higher power.
Did he just call himself God?
I think he did.
Everyone calm down. The pros are here. We're the X-Men. Dated metaphor for racism in the 60s. We're the X-Men. Dated metaphor for racism in the 60s. Hit it! Go! Go! Go!
Ethiopia is calling for the return of artifacts seized by British forces in the East African nation 150 years ago. The treasures are currently on display at the UK's Victoria and Albert Museum.
These items aren't for sale.
Ethiopia first officially requested that the objects be returned in 2007. The VNA says it's ready to give the artifacts on a long-term loan basis. The VNA says it's ready to give the artifacts on a long-term loan basis. But Addis Ababa has rejected that offer, saying it wants them all back permanently.
Furthermore, to re-echo South Africa's foreign minister, we must intensify our efforts at retrieving our looted cultural treasures, which are being housed in the museums of the nations that stole them from us, and making money for them instead of for us. Come what may, whatever the obstacles, we must get them back.
Don't trip. I'm gonna take it off your hands for you.
These items aren't for sale.
How do you think your ancestors got these? You think they paid a fair price? Or did they take it like they took everything else?
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Not to worry, Mission Control. Help is on the way.
This can't be, man. What? You know what this is?
What is it, Buna?
It's the Book of Life.
Book of Life.
In the beginning, when man arrived on Earth, the black gods did leave their spacecraft. The black gods did leave their spacecraft, and they walked, and they named the beasts of the sea and the animals of the land.
Heavens.
And man in his blackness did walk the earth.
This was copyrighted in 1996. All right. What it said is this, and this is the mind-blowing part. It said that when they tested the orangutan, they found out he only had 3 DNA series. When they tested the gorilla, they found out the gorilla has 4 DNA series, because he's a little smarter than the orangutan.
Now I'm the king of the swingers, oh, the jungle VIP. I've reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. I've reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me.
That when they tested the orangutan, they found out he only had 3 DNA series. When they tested the gorilla, they found out the gorilla has 4 DNA series, because he's a little smarter than the orangutan. They tested the chimpanzee, which is an ape, and found that he had 5 DNA series. Then they went all into the different races of the world. They went into Europe and tested the DNA series of the English, the French, the German, the Spanish, the Russians, and found they had 6 DNA series. 6 DNA series.
There is a storm coming! Like nothing you have ever seen! And not a one of you is prepared for it!
But when they came to Africa, found out that the African people have 9 DNA series.
I don't believe it. What are you?
A believer.
It's about 2 billion people all over the world that looks like us, but their lives are a lot harder. Wakanda has the tools to liberate them all.
Our weapons will not be used to wage war on the world. It is not our way to be judge, jury, and executioner for people who are not our own.
Not wrong. But didn't life start right here on this continent? So ain't all people your people?
I am not king of all people. I am king of Wakanda.
Go! Go! Go!
But didn't life start right here on this continent? So ain't all people your people?
I am not king of all people. I am king of Wakanda.
Go! Go! Go!
Hello, King Bob. Welcome to Buckingham Palace.
Voilà. Nakash la mashure. Oh, speta.
Were you listening to me, Neo?
Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.
The circumpunct, the Ra symbol. The circumpunct, the Ra symbol. What evidence can we find to prove that this symbol is not our sun, but another sun-like star?
Brace for impact!
Kal-El, the last son of Krypton. Remember who you are.
Not to worry, Mission Control. Help is on the way.
The circumpunct, the Ra symbol.
Kal-El, the last son of Krypton. The last son of Krypton. Remember who you are.
And I didn't invent any genetics. I just simply thought about the things that I had been taught in their institutions and in medical school. That the inability to produce skin pigmentation is defined not by Francis Welsing, but by their own scientists as a genetic recessive trait and a genetic deficiency. A genetic deficiency, and it is albinism. A-L-B-I-N-I-S-M, albinism, meaning the cells in everybody's skin that are called melanocytes, that are charged with the production of melanin pigment, the black pigment. If you have a lot of melanin, you're crystal black, a little bit less, you look brown, a little bit less, you look red, a little bit less, you look yellow, and white is almost none at all. Now, they had defined albinism as a genetic deficiency state when they were talking about mice and rats and other forms of life. They never thought that some black person would come along and say, if the majority of the people on the planet have pigmented skins, then as far as human beings are concerned, white skin is albinism. Do you follow what I'm saying? See, in other words, they were busy saying something is wrong with you, when in reality there was something wrong with them. And I explained that this is the reason that they suntan. You see, trying to create color. And I'm updating it and saying now that this is the reason that so many of them are trying to cover their bodies with tattoos. See, now we need to think about that, because sometimes monkey see, monkey do.
I want to be a man cub, and stroll right into town and be just like the other men. I'm tired of walking around.
Sometimes monkey see, monkey do.
Oh, ooby-doo, I want to be like you. I want to walk like you, talk like you, choo.
Sometimes monkey see, monkey do. And we don't understand why. See, it's like they do something, we think we have to do something. It's some black people who think that they have to get in the sun and tan too. See, but we have been blessed by the Creator with color. And indeed, and in fact, the Creator made us the chosen people.
I realize that you're new to this, but relax. You've been chosen by a higher power.
Did he just call himself God?
I think he did.
The chosen people, in that we are the mothers and fathers of everybody on this planet.
Hit it! Go! Go! Go!
Are the mothers and fathers of everybody on this planet.
There are many Caucasian people who sincerely believe.
Go ahead.
That they are our mothers and fathers.
Teach the
when in fact the opposite is true. Look, that's why you only just came on the planet yesterday.
And I, for one, as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough.
They went into Europe and tested the DNA series of the English, the French, the German, the Spanish, the Russians, and found they had 6 DNA series.
And I, for one, as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough. If he were made to realize how black people really feel and how fed up we are without that old compromise and sweet talk. Stop sweet talking him. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up.
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.
America has certainly changed since our last visit. Your black president finally united this great country.
Yeah, but it's all going to hell now.
We all gonna die. Just don't know how.
It's gonna be the Nazis. Nazis are back.
To clean his house up.
Nazis are back.
To clean his house up.
We are the mothers and fathers of everybody on this planet.
To clean his house up.
Nazis are back.
If he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
Is this your silver steak? How long has it been? 300-400 years? How long has it been? 300-400 years? You don't remember, do you?
Exactly what is it I should be remembering?
You are the great Van Helsing, trained by monks and mullahs from Tibet to Istanbul. Protected by Rome. Protected by Rome.
X-Force.
Protected by Rome herself. But, like me, hunted by all others.
The Knights of the Holy Order know all about you. It's no surprise you would know about me.
Yes, but it's much more than this. We have such history, you and I, Gabriel. Don't be afraid, Gabriel. Don't be afraid. I shall give you back your life, your memory.
X-Force.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Count Vladislaus Dragulya. I am Count Vladislaus Dragulya. This cannot be.
We are both part of the same great game, Gabriel. But we need not find ourselves on opposite sides of the board.
Did deliver in a ITCCS legal notice.
And it's a document that was put together by Kevin Annett, who exposed the Canadian genocide, the residential schools in Canada where a vast number of Native children were basically murdered.
These are some of the 150,000 Indigenous children who attended so-called residential schools in Canada between the 1840s and 1990s. Many were forcibly taken from their parents and there was widespread abuse. Some lived here at the Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia, where the remains of 215 children have just been discovered.
Time to make the chimichangas.
30 seconds.
I finally know why I'm here. I was raised in this place. Well, not raised, I was tortured.
Wow. It's your cosmic reason for being here. Shall we?
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Great. Bunch of armed pedophiles in nursing shoes.
The residential schools in Canada where a vast number of Native children were basically murdered. And he's implicating the Queen of England in this. It says on February 25th, 2013, a lawfully constituted common law court of justice found Elizabeth Windsor, Queen of England and head of state of Great Britain and its Church of England guilty as charged of crimes against humanity in Canada and of engaging in a criminal conspiracy to conceal genocide. The same verdict found Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper guilty of the same offences. This verdict was based on irrefutable evidence, including eyewitness accounts of Elizabeth Windsor's personal involvement in the forcible abduction and disappearance of children from the Kamloops Indian Residential School on October 10, 1964, while on a state visit to Canada.
Whoa! Got his motherfuckers! Ain't karma, motherfucker.
I could hear you coming the last 30 seconds. I could barely keep a straight face. I want some more. I bet you do, Brown Panther.
So here we are at Buckingham Palace, and on the gate, the crest has gone. The crest has gone.
The circumpunct, the Ra symbol.
Who are you?
I've been asking the same question.
That the English have only 6, and all into Europe, only 6. Went over into Japan and China, and they only have 6. Went over into Japan and China, and they only have 6.
Am I the son of a panda? The son of a goose? A student? A teacher? Turns out, I'm all of them. I am the Dragon Warrior. I am the Dragon Warrior.
Get it? See the giant dragon?
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was... Look again.
I am the Dragon Warrior.
Get it? See the giant dragon? Get ready to feel the thunder! This is awesome!
Nazis are back. Nazis are back.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Everybody strap in! I'm about to open some fucking windows.
Well, it certainly has been an interesting last few millennium. With this whole infiltrate the upper echelon of human society and manipulate them into destroying each other. With this whole infiltrate the upper echelon of human society and manipulate them into destroying each other. And you two crazy kids with your crusades and your jihad, or whatever you want to call it. Nothing like a little monotheism to throw people into centuries of battles over exactly the same ideology.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Everybody strap in! I'm about to open some fucking windows.
Whoa. Has anyone ever tried to train a dragon?
No one's ever lived to tell the tale.
It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you.
It took me 500 years to take Oogway's chi. I will have yours if it takes me 500 more!
Kitty, kitty, chat, chat. Shit, chat. You want my chi so bad? Then take it!
Yes! The power is mine! Wait, no! It's too much! It's too much! No! No!
Hey, Bob! Tika cheese time! Tika masala!
You know, because cake or death, that's a pretty easy question. Anyone can answer that. Cake or death? Cake, please. You know, because cake or death, that's a pretty easy question. Anyone can answer that. Cake or death? Cake, please. Very well. Give him cake. Oh, thanks very much. Very nice. You, cake or death? Cake for me too, please. Very well. Give him cake too. We're gonna run out of cake at this rate. You, cake or death?
Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Puny god.
Speak up.
It's in Hebrew.
Hebrew? Read it.
Then the Lord told Moses, "Now you will see that I will do to Pharaoh. When he feels the force of my strong hand, he will let my people go.
And I've seen the promised land.
He will let my people go. In fact, he will force them to leave his land. Therefore, now I say this to you, my black brothers and sisters. Therefore, God said, say to the people of Israel, I am the Lord. I will free you from your oppression, and I will rescue you from your slavery in Egypt, your slavery here in America.
But who can get up the man in the tomb? Nobody but one with a master grip. Nobody but one with a lion's paw. The Bible says there's a lion asleep in Judah. Who will wake him? No pussycat can wake up a lion. And this pussycat leadership will never wake the black man up. You're too weak in your effort to free our people from the hand of the oppressor.
British royalty, English royalty are the biggest Nazis on the face of the earth. The Queen Mother that rides around in her golden chariot, a Nazi.
These catastrophes are the work of God, and they have not finished. They will get worse. We need to reach a settlement for both our sakes.
The British royalty, in my humble opinion, are the most evil operation on the face of the earth. I believe they're behind the drug trafficking, mafia, bloodletting, and when David Icke talks about the possibility that there might be reptilian influence there, I'm going to give you my opinion on that based on my own personal research. I think he's totally right on this. I think there's a very good case can be made for the existence of reptilians. And I totally agree that the reptilian influence on this earth is frightening in its implications, and I believe this not because David Icke's reasons. I have my own reasons.
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was... Look again.
You are weak, son of El. Unsure of yourself. The fact that you possess a sense of morality, and we do not. The fact that you possess a sense of morality, and we do not, gives us an evolutionary advantage.
Kal-El, you have no idea how long we've been searching for you.
I take it you're Zod?
General Zod.
I take it you're Zod?
General Zod, our commander.
It's all right, Feora. We can forgive Cal any lapses in decorum. He's a stranger to our ways. Hello, Cal. Or do you prefer Clark? That's the name they gave you. That's the name they gave you.
Your name is Toby. I want to hear you say it. Your name is Toby.
That's the name they gave you, isn't it? I was Krypton's military leader, your father our foremost scientist. The only thing we agreed on was that Krypton was dying. In return for my efforts to protect our civilization and save our planet, I and my fellow officers were sentenced to the Phantom Zone. I and my fellow officers were sentenced to the Phantom Zone.
You have abandoned the principles that bound us together. You've taken up the sword against your own people.
Lay down your weapons. Your forces are surrounded.
You have abandoned the principles that bound us together. You've taken up the sword against your own people.
General Zod, for the crimes of murder and high treason, the Council has sentenced you and your fellow insurgents to 300 cycles of somatic reconditioning. To 300 cycles of somatic reconditioning. Do you have any last words?
You won't kill us yourself! You wouldn't sully your hands, but you'll damn us to a black hole for eternity!
I and my fellow officers were sentenced to the Phantom Zone. And then the destruction of our world freed us. And now it's within your power to save what remains of your race. On Krypton, The genetic template for every being yet to be born is encoded in the Registry of Citizens. The genetic template for every being yet to be born is encoded in the Registry of Citizens. Your father stole the registry's codex and stored it in the capsule that brought you here.
What happened down there?
He exposed a temporary weakness.
It is of little consequence. Because I have located the codex. Because I have located the codex. Go! 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 Because I have located the codex. It was never in the capsule. Jor-El took the codex, the DNA of 1 billion people. Then he bonded it within his son's individual cells.
We are the mothers and fathers of everybody on this planet.
Then he bonded it within his son's individual cells. All of Krypton's heirs, living, hidden in one refugee's body. All of Krypton's heirs, living, hidden in one refugee's body.
Does Kal-El need to be alive for us to extract the codex from his cells?
The fact that you possess a sense of morality, and we do not, gives us an evolutionary advantage.
Does Kal-El need to be alive for us to extract the codex from his cells?
No.
Release the world engine. I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted. I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted. I will take them all from you one by one.
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was... Look again.
Come in, you got to come in and talk to me a second. I said, well, you're too busy. He said, no. He says, we've made the decision we're going to war with Iraq. This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, we're going to war with Iraq? Why? He said, I don't know. He said, I guess they don't know what else to do. So I said, well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda? He said, no. He says, there's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq.
I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted. I will take them all from you one by one.
So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years.
The fact that you possess a sense of morality, and we do not, gives us an evolutionary advantage.
This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted. I will take them all from you one by one.
You're a monster, Zod.
Between us, 2 broken windows. Oh, God!
I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted. I will take them all from you one by one.
You're a monster, Zod. And I'm gonna stop you.
Unadu. King Bob! Come le bono le lassi? Me le dite? Loco la pati, Bob la Kingo, là-bas la macchina pochette. Però no! La bibimbap non le barada. Pas pour la bougie. La bougie! So.
The secret of Hiram is the power of the enemy through the Freemasons and the Shriners to lock down the black man and make sure that he never rises.
There was a war in heaven. The victors declared themselves gods, while the vanquished were renamed Titans, and forever imprisoned within the bowels of Mount Tartarus, and forever imprisoned within the bowels of Mount Tartarus.
To lock down the black man and make sure that he never rises.
I am the Lord. I will free you from your oppression, and I will rescue you from your slavery in Egypt, your slavery here in America. I will redeem you with a powerful arm. I will redeem you with a powerful arm. I will redeem you with a powerful arm and great acts of judgment, and great acts of judgment.
What the shit?
And great acts of judgment. I will claim you as my own people, and I will be your God. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God, who has freed you from your oppression in Egypt, from your oppression in America. And I will bring you into the land I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I will give it to you as your very own possession. I am the Lord.
One who is a direct descendant and has in his DNA,
nine DNA series,
and has in his DNA that potential of building a new heaven and a new earth. His name is Hiram Abith. Hiram in Hebrew means a noble one. He was a noble. He was a holy person. And in the story, they put him to death. And they buried him in the North Country, North America. He's buried here. But he can be revived.
Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive.
But he can be revived.
Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 14, that says this: But I, God, will punish the nation that enslaves them. But I, God, will punish the nation that enslaves them. And in the end, they, you, my chosen black brothers and sisters, or the Hebrew slaves back in the New Testament, will come away.
Hey, Satan! Pay my dues!
Will come away.
Hey, Satan! Pay my dues!
Will come away with great wealth.
That we as a people will get to the promised land.
No stop signs, speed limit. Nobody's gonna slow me down.
That we as a people will get to the promised land.
No stop signs, speed limit. Nobody's gonna slow me down.
That we as a people will get to the promised land.
Hey, mama, look at me. I'm on my way to the promised land.
And singing the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Hey, mama, look at me. I'm on my way to the promised land.
And singing the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are